How's everybody doing? So I haven't made a YouTube video in a long time. I used to be very passionate about making tons of college football videos and tons of videos about my faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I was recently, this past year in July, called to preach and have started Bible college. So I've been pretty busy with that, so I haven't really had the opportunity to make many football videos. And really, to be honest with you, haven't really had the desire to make many football videos because I've been pretty concerned with Bible college and church and growing in the Lord. And on that side of things, things are going great. But there's this ongoing issue that we are dealing with here when it comes to the Georgia Bulldogs. And there's so many different how do I put this? There's so many different rabbit trails I could go down. There's so many different branch offs and topics to address that there's just no way I could address in a short little video. But basically, it's just been eating away at me. And I'm just making a video today to try to maybe even vent a little bit about my thoughts and the way that I feel about it, and maybe to try to talk some sense into some people's heads. I'm not sure that I'll be able to do that. And I'm not saying that it's like, if you don't agree with everything I say, then you're wrong and you're not entitled to an opinion. I'm just like coming with facts and like, actual evidence of things that have occurred in real life. And I'm not just like blurting out a bunch of stuff that people just blurt out over and over and over again. Example, Mike Bobo, screenplay, why do we keep running the ball into the teeth of the defense? Why is Kirby Smart so stubborn? And just to say the same four things that we've heard over and over and over again throughout the last 5 years. So basically there's been, when I say this, I mean like people that I know, people that I don't know personally. It seems that like every YouTube video I watch concerning Georgia, Josh Pate, Dog Nation, Dogs HQ, from fan base, more from shows that are more tuned towards the actual Georgia fan base to even national type shows. It seems there's just this constant negativity that surrounds the Georgia Bulldogs of people act like Kirby don't know what he's doing. Kirby Smart is too loyal to Mike Bobo. Kirby Smart is too loyal to certain players and quarterbacks, and he's just, the game has passed him by, and his whole philosophy of gaining talent in this day of NIL and transfer portal has just passed us by, and this is just not how you do it anymore. And he's just buddies with Mike Bobo, and he won't let Mike Bobo go, and he's just being stubborn. It's just on and on and on with the negativity and the constant just harassment of the team and just the constant downgrading of the Bulldogs. And you can look on the internet. This is not like hidden information. This isn't what I'm about to say isn't like some big hidden topic that we can't discuss, or some mythological I don't even know how I'm trying to say this. This is not some made up thing that I'm getting ready to say here. No team in college football. How many teams are there in FBS Division I college football? Is there like 136 teams spanning the Power Four conferences, the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, Big Ten? I don't know the ACC. I don't know if I said all four of them in order there or repeated one of them. And then you've got the group of 5 conferences. But basically there are 135 or 136, I believe, FBS Division I college football teams. Out of those 130 so teams, nobody has won more football games in the last 5 years than the University of Georgia. No team. Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan, Clemson, LSU, Oregon, USC, Alabama, Florida, Auburn, Ole Miss. I mean, Texas A&M. No team. Georgia has won more football games in the last 5 years than any other team. I don't understand. And by the way, that includes 2 national championships. And that also includes 3 SEC championships, 2022, 2024, and 2025, including back-to-back titles in 21 and 22, and back-to-back SEC championships this year and last year. I'm having a hard time in my brain deciphering between all these negative comments about Kirby doesn't know what he's doing. Why are we hanging on to Mike Bobo? Mike Bobo stinks and he sucks, and there is just you can sit here and I can sit here and watch the TV, and if I can sit here and watch this TV and say what Georgia's about to run next, then what do you think that other defensive coordinator for that other team thinks about Mike Bobo's play calling? If I can sit here and say what play Bobo is running next, then surely the other coaches know what we're about to run. Well, I would really love to cut on a Georgia football game next season as Mike Bobo being the offensive coordinator, who, by the way, has been up for the Broyles Award 2 times in the last 3 years, which is the nation's best. He hadn't won it yet, but he's up for it this year again, which is they pick 5 or 6 coaches who is going to win the Broyles Award, being the best assistant coach in college football for that particular year. If he's so terrible, I don't know why that people who are not Georgia fans, but nationally based people who vote on these rankings, why in the world has Mike Bobo been up for the Broyles Award 2 out of the last 3 years? But nonetheless, I digress before I regress. But anyway, at any rate, to these people who are claiming that they know exactly what play Georgia's about to run next because Mike Bobo's too predictable, I would love to sit down and cut on a football game next year. Like, just take, for instance, Georgia is going to play Oklahoma at home next year. Or you can just say any random game they're going to play on the road at Ole Miss. I would like to actually cut the TV on and sit down with these people and have them have a notebook. And since they know the play that's about to be ran, I want them to tell me what play that Georgia's about to run. And they write down the play that they thought was going to be ran. And Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo and the offensive coaching staff as a whole to get back in touch with them after the game and write down the actual play that was called. And keep in mind, these people would literally be writing pass, run, pass. Oh, we're going to run here. We're going to run here, pass. They would just say, they literally dumb it down to run, pass. Look, I'm not a college football coach or an NFL football coach. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that I know every single scheme and formation and play style and play call. And I don't know every nuance with a zone running play and passing formations and different route trees. I'm not that intelligent. And by the way, Mike Bobo has forgotten more about football than any of us at this level will ever know. I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm some. There are these like film people out there. They go back and I really like Brooks Austin on Film Guy Network, and I even like college football nerds who break down all the stats and stuff. Well, they take it and they like put it into like some type of a scientific model and come up with all these crazy stats, and they just dissect it down to the nuclear level and just make it so overwhelmingly complicated, and just this stat and what happens when the quarterback exits the pocket on mid-range throws. If it was an RPO and the offensive line was really run blocking, then 4.3% of the time the quarterback tends, and it's just I don't know it on that level, and it gets overblown. But these people cannot sit there and tell you the next play that Georgia's running. That's an overstatement. That's an exaggeration. They couldn't tell you the formation. I mean, they could literally line up and you could pause the TV and they could not tell you the formation that the offense is in, much less the play that they are about to run after they've ran it. Like, they could run the play and they could not tell you, okay, that was a zone run or a stretch zone or a wide zone or just a straight up zone or this was an RPO. They don't understand when the offensive line is run blocking, the receivers are running a route as if they're going to catch the football, but the offensive line is run blocking. in case the quarterback makes a certain read on the edge player, or most of the time an outside linebacker, to run the ball. Or if he blitzes or doesn't blitz or doesn't crash down, that I'm going to pull the ball myself and actually throw a pass play. Or I myself as a quarterback has an option to run the ball. That's what an RPO is. These people, they say that they can tell you what the next play is, but you could pause the TV and they couldn't tell you what the formation was on offense. I keep going back to the main point of I can't understand how it almost seems to me like it is physically impossible to do any better than Georgia has won more football games. Like actual games. Like they actually go out on the field and they play a football game. They kick the ball off and they go on offense and defense and special teams. And they have like 4 quarters and a halftime. And they play a full football game against like the University of Tennessee, the University of Oklahoma, the University of South Carolina, the institute that is Georgia Tech. They play actual football games. They play in championship games against teams like, I don't know, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, TCU. They play football games. And out of all the teams that play in these games, no team has won more of those games than the Georgia Bulldogs. Yet we have a fan base that is just so negative and just so... This negativity, I'm telling you, it creeps all the way down to the locker room. I'm going to tell you something about Tennessee fans. And I'm going to tell you something about Alabama fans. and Oklahoma fans. Look, let me tell you something. These are just certain people that I know. And I know there's a lot more than that. Let me tell you about these people. It doesn't matter how bad or how good their team is doing or performing in that particular game or in that particular season or with this particular set of coaches or quarterbacks. It just doesn't matter. Alabama fans and Tennessee fans and Oklahoma fans, they believe that no matter what, their team is going to do whatever it takes and they're going to find a way to win the game, and they get back behind their team and they push and they support and they believe and they ride or they die with they die on the hill that is their football team that they support, and they have the full backing of the fan base. And no matter what, like I told my brother-in-law this year after Tennessee had lost like their entire team, they lost their quarterback, a bunch of wide receivers, a bunch of good defensive players, a couple of offensive linemen, a tight end or two. They lost their entire team. And I said, Tennessee's not going to fall off the map, but I think they're going to go 7-5 or 8-4 this year. You would have thought that I said they were going to go 0-12. He completely disagreed with me. And in the face of we've lost half our team. No, we're not. We're going to be good. We're going to shock the world. We're going to dominate. They just believe that no matter what, they're going to win. And they back their team, and they just believe that next year's the year, and if they didn't do it this year, I'm not saying they don't get disappointed. But this whole thing with Georgia and Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart is like a disease. It's like a disease. I'm not sure what everybody is expecting. Like, what exactly are we doing here? What exactly do we want? Like Kirby said, what is the goal? What are we trying to accomplish here? We can't sit here and say, because Georgia won back-to-back national championships, that just because Todd Monken went to the Baltimore Ravens and now that Mike Bobo's the offensive coordinator, if we don't win a national championship every single year, that Mike Bobo is some type of an offensive coordinator who doesn't know how to call plays. Again, they've won more games in the last 5 years than any other team. 2 of those years was Todd Monken, and 3 of those years have been Bobo. Like, guys, they just won back-to-back SEC championship games, and they have had back-to-back buys in the first round of the playoffs. I don't understand how much better you can do. I understand that in the moment, yes, it is frustrating that we lost to Notre Dame, albeit that we had just lost our quarterback that was our quarterback for the past 2 seasons, and Gunner was making his first start against Notre Dame. And albeit how heartbreaking and disappointing it is to lose to Ole Miss, especially after beating them at home earlier in the year. But guys, I'm here to remind you that every single team Georgia played in 2025, they beat. Yes, they lost to Alabama in the regular season. Yes, they lost to Ole Miss in the playoffs, but they also beat Alabama and beat them bad, like really bad, like way worse than 28-7 bad. Like they took their foot off the gas and started running the ball in the third quarter bad. And they also beat Ole Miss in the regular season. I don't know how much better you can do than you beat every single team on your schedule. Now, I know that we lost to Ole Miss at a bad time, and that knocked us out of the playoffs, and that's disappointing. But at the same time, nobody, again, let's remember, nobody has won more football games in the last 5 years than Georgia. And it is physically impossible to do any better than that. We can't measure, Todd Monken is a great offensive coordinator. He is amazing. But Mike Bobo has my full support. I believe in him. I think he's a great coach. I think he does a lot of great things. Todd Monken even said that a lot of the things that they did were credited to Mike Bobo. Yes, it's true that since Todd Monken left, Georgia hasn't won another national championship, but that can't be the basis for every argument. I mean, like, we're going to have to get out of our minds the expectation to win a national title every single year. It can't be Georgia has to win a national championship or we're just going to be miserable. And we're terrible, and Kirby's just too stubborn, and Bobo just don't know what he's doing, and I'm so sick and tired of screenplays. It can't be that if we don't win a national championship, like, Georgia's not going to go 16-0 and win the title every year. That's just unreasonable. Like, I'm here to remind everybody, like, has anybody ever played sports? Has anybody ever coached sports? Like, has anybody ever coached baseball or watched? Like, every pitch cannot be a strike. Every hit cannot be a home run. Therefore, every single play that Mike Bobo calls isn't going to get a first down or a touchdown or be a 25-yard gain. And the people, whenever it's 3rd and 21 and we've taken a sack and we're on our own 21-yard line and Mike Bobo runs the ball up the middle, and people say, why in the world would Mike Bobo run the ball up the middle when we got to make 21 yards? Well, guys, I hate to break it to you, but we have given up on that drive, and we are just going to try to run the ball for 4 or 5 yards and punt the ball to the other team, because it is highly unlikely that you're going to succeed at throwing the ball 21 yards down the field for a first down when the defense knows that you have to pass in this situation. So we're going to put more defensive backs. And like I said, I don't know all the coverages and formations. I played high school football, and I'm an avid college football fan. I know the very basics. I know cover 1, cover 2, cover 3. I know nickel and dime coverage. But when the defense dictates and says we're going to put 6 defensive backs in the backfield and drop a linebacker, you don't want to throw an interception. So the best thing to do is to kind of accept that the other team got the better of you on that one drive. But people take that to Mike Bobo has no idea what he's doing. Do you think that he thought that we were going to get a first down by running an outside zone play on 3rd and 21 on our own 20-yard line? No. We're just punting the ball to the other team, and we're going to try to play defense for a second. And sometimes that happens. Like, sometimes in a football game, you're going to have to back up and punt. And every drive, it's like, I don't get it with the Georgia fans. They frustrate me so bad, because I'm not trying to like talk down to people here and make somebody feel dumb, but I love this team, and I back this team, and I support this team, and I don't know how much better they could do besides win more games than any other team and win 3 SEC championships and 2 national championships. And it's like, if we don't beat everybody 57-3 and win the national title, that our fans just go bonkers and start talking out of their mind about, as if they know more about football than Kirby Smart. I don't get it. Look, guys, Todd Monken did a phenomenal job for us. Phenomenal job. He's done as good as a job as anybody's ever done in college football. I mean, Nick Saban, Joe Brady, Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart. Put him up there with the greats. We won back-to-back national championships under Todd Monken. But I will remind you that in that time, since everybody likes to compare Bobo and Monken, in that time, Todd Monken also had the benefit of having the greatest defense. I don't care what anybody tells you about the Miami Hurricanes from 2000 whatever, and any defense you ever, the Nebraska defense or Alabama's defenses. The greatest defense ever devised in the history of college football played from 2021 through 2022. I mean, guys like Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Of course, now they're all of them are slipping my mind because it's the heat of the moment in a video. Nakobe Dean, Lewis Seen, Nolan Smith, just guy after guy after guy. We had defensive tackles, nose guards, edge players, linebackers, defensive backs. We had the greatest. Todd Monken had the benefit of having the greatest defense in college football history for 2 years in a row. Guys, that really helps your offense. Like, when your defense is holding the other team to 6 points a game, it's highly likely that your offensive coordinator is going to be able to do enough to win the football game. And lest I remind you, we had close games under Monken. We almost lost to Missouri. We had close games against, what was it? We played a really close game against Kent State one time. Was it Kent State? The game was like we won like 26-22 or something crazy like that. It's not that Monken is this superior offensive coordinator and Bobo is just like cannot do anything right, and he is just like from dinosaur days, and he's running old school schemes. It's just I just can't believe the things that I hear, and I don't know, it's okay. So I'm out doing a couple errands today, and I had to move locations. So I got off my train of thought from what I was saying a second ago. But let me just sum this up because I don't want the video to get too long. I know it's probably already almost 30 minutes by the time I piece these videos together. My whole point is you have to remember that at the end of the day, as much as we love college football, and yes, we make too much of a big deal about it, and sometimes I'm even convicted. God has to tell me, hey, you care too much about this. But at the end of the day, let's remember that this is a game. Okay, this is literally, it's just a game, and it's a game with a ball. Like this is a bunch of 18 to 23 year olds, 24 year olds. However, I mean, they're a bunch of 20 year olds out here playing with a football. And yes, they have coaches, and yes, they take it serious, and they work out, and they run, and they get right, and they have all these fancy plays and schemes, and they're large, strong, fast human beings. But at the end of the day, it is just a game with a ball. And sometimes when you play a game with a ball, it's just like a random set of events and scenarios. Like every game is its own animal. This game is not going to be anything like that game. Just because Alabama beat Tennessee 31-20 does not mean that Georgia is going to beat Tennessee 31-20. It's a set of random scenarios, and the ball bounces funny ways, and it's a ball game. So sometimes things happen. You can't win every single ball game. It's just not possible. It's just not feasible. And I've just had it up to here with the negative Georgia fans. I can assure you, Kirby Smart thinks that Mike Bobo is the guy for the job. If he didn't, he would get rid of him today and find another coach. It has nothing to do with loyalty. I mean, for goodness sakes, what? How do all these people prove in their minds? How do they even know that Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo are great friends and that he's loyal to him and doesn't want to let him go? It's something that they have quite literally just made up out of thin air. They may never even hang out outside of football. Who knows? Kirby thinks that his staff is the right staff, whether it's Bobo or the new offensive line coach or Glenn Schumann or Chidero Uzo-Deribe or our everybody only knows the offensive coordinator, but they don't know the safeties coach, and they don't know the outside linebackers coach, and they don't know Todd Hartley, and they don't know our defensive line coach, and they don't know our running backs coach, and it's a team effort. And Kirby, I believe, has I don't know. I'm just gonna trust the guy that has won more football games than any other team in the sport in the last 5 years, and has won multiple national championships and 3 SEC championships in the last 5 years alone. I think I'm just going to trust that guy knows how to put together a football staff. He knows how to put together the best football team on top of the NIL and the transfer portal. And now we're trying to navigate through that. And I believe that Georgia's doing a very good job of that. Better than anybody, as a matter of fact, it turns out. Seeing as how they've won more games than anybody. And I like I said, I've got so many points that I can't get them all out. But lastly, I'll just say that, Todd Monken was a great offensive coordinator, but he benefited heavily from having the greatest defense in college football history while he was there at Georgia. And that helped us win a national championship, believe it or not. It wasn't all just on the offensive coordinator. Like, the reason that we won back-to-back national championships was not all due to Todd Monken being the offensive coordinator and Mike Bobo not being our play caller. That's just not how it works. Also, I would say to enjoy this. Guys, we got to enjoy this. I believe we really are living in the best era of Georgia football. I mean, my dad was on this earth for over 40 years waiting on a national championship, and we have finally, like, we used to would kill to win an SEC championship, and now we're just winning them back to back and left and right, and we've just become like complacent as a fan base, and it's just like nothing is good enough anymore. Like Georgia fans just want to complain about everything, and nothing is good enough, and winning more games than any other team is somehow not good enough, and we can do better. We have to just go into next year not expecting perfection, especially in this new world and new era that we live in that has took every team and made them more even across the board. We have to go in not expecting perfection, like we're not going to win every game, and we're not going to win the championship every year. We're not going to win the SEC championship or the national championship every year. It's just not going to happen. The SEC championship may go away in this crazy landscape that we live in, where players can just do whatever they want to do and leave at any time, like the Clemson linebacker who was enrolled in classes and then leaves and goes to Ole Miss. It's just a crazy world we live in, and our coaches are trying to navigate it, and I believe they're doing a pretty good job. Like, we just beat Alabama 28-7 in the SEC championship. I mean, we went 12-2 and had a first-round bye in the playoffs, and yeah, we lost to Ole Miss, but at the same time, it took their, kicker breaking the Sugar Bowl record for the longest field goal ever made in the game. And then in the middle of the game, he broke his own record by making an even longer field goal, breaking his own Sugar Bowl record in the game. And it took their best running back and their best quarterback playing the best game of their lives to beat us by 5 points. I think they're doing a good job, and I'm just going to choose to trust Kirby Smart. And I say, hey, let's not judge our success every single year based off if we beat teams 55-0 or win national championships. And let's just try to be a little positive and enjoy this. Because as I've said a million times in this video, no team has won more games in the last 5 years than Georgia. And at some point, that has to be a good thing. Like, at some point, we have to enjoy that and it be like a good thing in our lives. And it's good to be a Georgia Bulldog fan because, our team wins more than anybody. And that's got to, at some point, not be a negative thing. I'd just say, let's just quit being so negative and quit expecting perfection and a touchdown on every drive. And let's just enjoy the game. Let's just enjoy the wins. Like, when we beat South Carolina, let's enjoy it. When we beat Tarleton State, let's enjoy it. When we beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, let's enjoy it. When we beat Oklahoma at home, let's enjoy it. Every win is a good thing. It's a good thing to win more games than anybody else. It's a good thing to win back-to-back SEC championships. Mike Bobo throws too many screenplays. Well, the guy he's throwing screenplays to is the most electric guy on the field, and he led our team in passing receptions and yards this year. Like, he was in the Heisman race for a little while, for goodness sakes. Gunner's going to take a step forward. We got our whole team back. It seems that everybody's losing everybody going into 2026, and it seems like we're returning just about everybody. I mean, we lose Kristen Miller. We lose one of our defensive backs that I can't think of his name right now, of course. Played great against Texas in 2 games. Did a lot of good things for us. I can't think of his name. And we lose Monroe Freeling, an offensive lineman. But other than that, we're literally returning everybody. We got just as good as a shot as anybody. Every poll out there has us inside the top 4. Let's just go into it next year and enjoy it. And, like, if we lose a football game, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Like, we still got a shot. And let's not base our success off if we win a national championship every single year. And let's just believe in our team and push for them, because that positivity or the negativity, I believe it creeps down all the way into the locker room. And you say, hang on now, how can me being upset about Mike Bobo or Kirby Smart's decisions, how can that affect the whole football team? Well, it doesn't as one person. But when you influence 3 people and they influence 3 people, and the next thing you know, the entire Georgia fan base is talking about how Kirby don't know what he's doing. He's just too buddy-buddy with Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo keeps running the ball up the middle and throwing screen plays and, winning back-to-back SEC championships. So we just hate him, and that negativity creeps all the way down to the locker room, when instead, how about let's be positive for a change and just believe that we're going to win no matter what, like other fan bases do, and just keep winning. So that's my thoughts.